Imagine you're writing a sentence and suddenly get stuck. You think, is it the team are winning or the team is winning? It's a common confusion. So, which one is correct? Do you often find yourself tangled in these kinds of grammar puzzles? Today, we're diving into subject-verb agreement to clear up these tricky questions. But before we get into it, it's essential to understand tenses first. If you haven't checked out our video on tenses, you'll find it linked in the description below and in the I button above. It's a must-watch to master this next step. Let's start with the basics. Singular subjects take singular verbs, and plural subjects take plural verbs. Easy, right? For example, the cat runs fast. Here, cat is singular, so runs is singular too. Now, the cats run fast. Here, cats is plural, so run is plural. Ever wondered why we say the cat runs but the cats run? Let's break down what singular and plural subjects and verbs mean. When we talk about one person, thing, or entity, we call that a singular subject. So here, the cat is singular, meaning we're talking about just one cat. And the action it performs, runs, is a singular verb. Notice how it ends with an s. That's a key to identifying singular verbs. But what happens when there's more than one? Now we have a plural subject, the cats. Plural means more than one. When the subject is plural, the verb doesn't end in s here. Run is the plural verb because we're talking about many cats. Let's move on to the second rule of subject-verb agreement. Which one of these sounds right to you? Is it, my friend and I is going for a movie, or, my friend and I are going for a movie? If you find this confusing, you're not alone. Let's dive into how compound subjects work with verbs. When two subjects are joined by and, they usually create a plural subject. That means we need to use a plural verb. So, the correct sentence is, my friend and I are going for a movie. The word and means you're talking about more than one person or thing, so the verb needs to be plural. Now, let's understand what happens when compound subjects are joined by the conjunction or. Imagine you're deciding between a sports car and a line of trucks. When we use or, the rule stays the same, the verb must agree with the subject that's closest to it. Look here, the subject closest to the verb is trucks, which is plural. So, we need to use the plural verb, are. See how it works? Since trucks is closest, we use are, the plural verb. Let's switch things up. Now, imagine a situation with a dog and a group of cats. But this time, let's see what happens when the singular subject is closest to the verb. In this sentence, the subject closest to the verb is dog, which is singular. So we need to use the singular verb is. Because dog is closest to the verb and it's singular, we use is. So, even though cats is plural, it doesn't affect the verb here. This shows how the verb agrees with the nearest subject, whether it's singular or plural. So, now we know that the verb agrees with the closest subject, whether singular or plural. But what happens when we encounter collective nouns? Well, these can be a little tricky. Collective nouns, like team or group, can be confusing because they can take either singular or plural verbs, depending on how we think of them. For example, we say, the team is winning when we're talking about the group acting as a whole unit. But, when the individuals within the group are acting separately, we say, the team are arguing. So, when you're thinking of the group as one unit, use the singular verb. When the focus is on the members acting individually, use the plural verb. This explanation makes collective nouns easier to understand, right? Just like with collective nouns, when we deal with certain measurements or units, we also need to be mindful of how we use our verbs. Here's the key: when distances, periods of time, sums of money, and similar units are considered as a single unit, they take a singular verb. For instance, think about 3 miles. We say, 3 miles is too far to walk, because we're considering it as a single distance. Similarly, 5 years is the maximum sentence, because we're viewing it as a single duration of time. And when it comes to money, $10 is a high price to pay, we're treating it as a single sum. So, whether it's a distance, a period of time, or a sum of money, when you think of them as a whole, use the singular verb. It's all about treating these units as one cohesive entity. Now, let's dive into another important detail about singular verbs. Some words and phrases are always singular, no matter what. They require a singular verb, so let's break this down. Words and phrases like each, either, neither, and everyone are always treated as singular. This means they always require a singular verb. For example, each of the participants was willing to be recorded. Here, each refers to every single participant, so we use the singular verb was. Similarly, neither alternative hypothesis was accepted. Neither is considered singular, so we use the singular verb was. And when we say, I will offer a $5 gift card to everybody who participates in the study, the word everybody is singular, requiring the singular verb will offer. Remember, words like each, either, neither, and everyone are always singular, and they always take a singular verb. Keep these in mind, and you'll ensure your subject-verb agreement is spot on. Understanding these rules helps you communicate clearly and correctly. Keep practicing, and these will become second nature in no time. Fantastic! We've covered a lot of ground, from collective nouns to specific words that always take singular verbs. Now, let's wrap it up with a final point about titles and names. When it comes to titles of books, movies, or names of organizations, these are always considered singular. So, they always take a singular verb. For example, The Great Gatsby is a classic novel. Here, The Great Gatsby is the title of a book, and we use the singular verb is. Similarly, Jurassic Park is a popular movie. Titles and names, no matter how many words they include, are always treated as a single entity. So remember to use a singular verb with them. That's a wrap on subject-verb agreement. From collective nouns and units to specific words and titles, knowing these rules helps you write and speak clearly. Keep practicing, and you'll master these agreements in no time. Stay tuned for the next part. Until then, keep learning and keep growing. Don't forget to hit the like button if you liked this video,